too, because I know he's always have that problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, make sure that it does, cause I hate when YouTube does that.
It's such a dumb thing when it comes to the PlayStation. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does that.
Is it PlayStation or YouTube's fault? Cause I'm not sure.
It's a mix of both. It's a mix of
Okay.
both. Okay, yeah, it's live. I see my screen. Alright, I'm gonna reset. Alright, 3, 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are back. Welcome to the Brian and Manny podcast, episode 5. That's kind of where we left off. My name is Brian. I'm here with my other host, Manny. Say hello
We
to the people.
back, baby.
Yes, we are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. So, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone has had such a great time, and now we are so back. As I said in my update video late at night, it was like 12 o'clock at night. It was just like I needed to put something up.
Yeah, midnight.
I basically announced that me and Manny are coming back. I was going to talk to him previously, but I wanted to put it out there in the world that we were coming back together. And I want to go over the schedule real quick, and then we'll get right to the Raw reactions and review. But before we get to that, I want to talk about where scheduling and everything is going. So I've switched up the schedule quite a bit, but it's very simple for me and Manny as we slowly get back into the groove. So first, today we are going to be doing a Monday Night Raw review of the May episode right before Backlash, because it was the go home for Raw. But then after that, tomorrow, a little bit earlier, because again, I wanted to start this a little bit earlier, but Manny had some stuff to do. Tomorrow, though, we're going to start 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. EST. We're going to start as we're going to do our pay-per-view predictions, our prediction war. Yes, prediction wars are staying. I'm not leaving that alone. So we're going to predict who's going to win at Backlash. The card is already set. If there's an extra match added, obviously, we'll talk about it in post during pay-per-view reactions, which pay-per-view reactions will be either Sunday or Monday, depending on how me and Manny feel. But yeah, Sunday, Monday, you will get our reaction to Backlash, which the feature match for Backlash, I should probably say this if you weren't aware. My GOAT, my childhood hero, actually my two childhood heroes, John Cena and Randy Orton will be going one-on-one after their 25-year rivalry comes to an end as they face one more time in the ring during Cena's retirement tour. So it means a lot to me, and that review is going to be very special for me because I've been with Cena and Orton for so long. There's so much history there. It's gonna be emotional. I won't even lie, but I'm super excited for it because it's my two childhood heroes, my goats, going to war for the World Heavyweight Championship. Something I would have never thought they would ever do again. And here we are. So
Yeah.
Backlash is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, so the schedule goes as follows. Monday Night Raw will be Wednesday to give us a day to review Raw. And then Thursday, if there's a pay-per-view week for just WWE, it will be that Thursday we'll do pay-per-view predictions. If there's no pay-per-view coming up that week, then we'll just say just a break, just a Thursday day break for us. And then, yeah, the pay-per-view reactions, hopefully Sunday or Monday, depending on how Manny feels. We're still trying to iron that out. But yeah, that's really about it from the scheduling. It didn't change too much, but just a little bit more simpler. Because before I had like different reviews of different shows, but it was stressing me out. So I just want to go very simple schedule for me and him. And I was very, very, very happy with the first couple episodes we did. So we're definitely going to stay on track. So yeah, so review real quick. Every Wednesday will be Raw reactions, and then Thursday, if there's a pay-per-view coming up, will be pay-per-view predictions. And then from there, either Saturday, or not Saturday, a Sunday or Monday will be pay-per-view reactions. So that's kind of the scheduling. That's how we're going to do it, and that's how it's going to go going forward. So I'll obviously also put the schedule up on both my YouTube comments, and I'll also put it on my Instagram how the scheduling is going to work, so you guys can keep up track. But yeah, we're basically back, and I can't wait to continue to talk to y'all about wrestling and our passion. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it's gonna
same
be
here.
fun.
I just want to say, glad that you're back, Brian.
Thank you.
I missed you. I mean, I'm sure the listeners and followers also missed you, and
Absolutely.
continuing for your strength, my brother. That's all we're gonna say, and let's enjoy. Let's enjoy and get back to what we love doing. Talk
Yeah,
about
that.
wrestling. Talk about what we love in
Yeah.
general.
Hey, and I actually
And
wanted to
yeah.
do a surprise thing because I didn't tell Manny this because he did give me a proposition about another series that he talks about on his channel. Which, by the way, go follow his channel. He does incredible predictions for both like UFC and some wrestling, but also do like TV shows and stuff like that. He's actually invited me to do a Last of Us podcast with him, and I want to say this on stream because I want everybody to know about it. I am accepting his deal. So episode five, I want to say 5 or 6. I will
5,
hop on.
yes.
Yeah, episode 5. I will hop on with him. I don't know what date it is yet. He has to let me know. But on episode
Sunday.
5, okay, Sunday. Episode 5, I
Sunday.
will hop in with him. I'm gonna watch it, and I will hop in with him for Last of Us, and we will break down what we think of the episode in high detail. So if you guys are interested in Last of Us TV shows, stuff like that, go follow his channel. He'll be doing a lot of that stuff. And if you want to see UFC
Yes.
predictions for other sports, you could also follow him as well. And also for any of you NBA heads, potentially at the end of the playoff going into the finals, I might do a finals breakdown analysis to break down
Oh.
finals with both my friend Ethan, because Ethan's a massive basketball nerd. So me and him will probably break that down. And for any of you listeners, if you know my good friend Robert, there are going to be times where obviously Mandy either has some business to attend to or he cannot make it to podcasting. Rob will be my replacement as just a backup plan. He won't be the one replacing Mandy, but just for that day, if I have Raw reactions set up, or if I'm doing predictions or something and I need Rob real quick, I'll grab Rob and Rob will be the one we'll talk to for the the predictions and the reactions. So, but other than that time, you will see Manny 24/7 as long as he doesn't have any work to do or anything like that. Manny will be obviously the voice. So just wanted to add that little
Yes.
wrinkle into the plans. But that's about it. That's all plans. That's enough yapping about plans and stuff. Let's get to the review. Let's get to Monday Night Raw. Um, in let me see. Monday Night Raw was from. I think they went from somewhere in Ohio, I believe. But regardless, yeah, Omaha, Ohio. That's what it was. So from Omaha, here's Monday Night Raw. So last week, the continuous craziness of this new dominant faction between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, the dog. Obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. Basically, if you don't know, which I will catch you up real quick, because again, we were supposed to talk about WrestleMania, but again, that's where I kind of took my break. WrestleMania was crazy. Paul Heyman turned on his tribal chief, the OTC Roman Reigns, and his best friend, his BFF, CM Punk, with both low blows, and joining the Messiah, Seth Rollins, and also adding one of my favorite young prospects in all of WWE, in Braun Breaker. Like, generally, when I saw the reaction on the Raw after WrestleMania, it was absolutely wild, absolutely crazy. But yeah, so that group has basically been on a tear since they've been together. And last week they sent that man Sami Zayn to the gulag. It was ugly last week. Man's got speared like almost 3 times, and he got a curb stomp for his troubles. Yeah, not fun. But Sammy basically somewhat survived, and you'll see him later tonight, and I'll explain. But for now, yeah, Sammy was basically killed. But that's not who we're talking about. This time we're talking about Yeet. Yeet Champion came out to start Monday Night Raw. Last week, he had a bit of a beef with social media superstar Logan Paul. Last week, Logan Paul challenged Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso looked like he basically accepted and hit a super kick on Logan. But then later in the night, before Logan left the building, he hit a mean sucker punch to Jey Uso. It kind of sent the message of, you're not just going to get away, hit a super kick, and go home. That's not how that works. So, from there, basically got hit with a super kick, came back with a punch, even Steven. So then Jey basically, was basically hyping up the crowd, of course, eating his way to the ring. He obviously, said always does, like, whenever he wants to eat once, he'll say, run it back, replay, run that back. And basically they did that. And then Jey basically got into the story of, how he's like kind of carrying the world heavyweight title and the amount of work he has to do. Because again, there is a lot of burden when you hold the world heavyweight title. There's a lot of work that goes in when you hold the world heavyweight championship. It's not as easy. You get very busy. You do a lot of media. You do a lot of appearances. Like, you're definitely more active when you're a world champion, or a champion in general, but specifically a world championship. There's a lot to do when you're a world champion. There's a lot of promoting, a lot of things you got to do. I mean, look at Cody Rhodes, for instance. You have to do a lot of promotion as world champion. It's a lot. So Jay's been kind of doing the same thing. As he was continuing asking, he basically called out Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I know you're back there. Get your ass down here and get this beating. But then all you hear is, ladies and gentlemen, and we're like, oh, so Paul Heyman comes down instead of Mr. Logan Paul. So not the Paul he was looking for. He was looking for a different Paul. He didn't get that Paul. So Paul comes down and obviously says, no disrespect to the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm specifically here for you. And Jay's like, hold on, Oos. After what you did to my brethren, my cousin, you expect me to hear you out? Obviously, Jay don't want none of that. Jay doesn't want any to do with that, which is fair enough, because I mean, listen, look what he did to Roman. I mean, it's inexcusable when it comes to the family. It's absolutely unexcusable what he did. So it's important that Jay kind of takes that. So basically, Paul, at first is basically just kind of breaking down, the burden of being a world champion, how it's very hard to be a world champion. It's not easy to be a world champion. There's a lot of work you got to go into, but then there's also, I think Paul said it best, there was like this darkness surrounding it when you're a world champion. That kind of, not the ego, but kind of like a curse almost when you're the world champion, because there's a lot of things that go into being a world champion without doing the wrong and the right. It's very hard to be a world champion. I mean, look what happened with, when like Cody Rhodes had it. So it's kind of that kind of scenario with Jay right now, as he holds the World Heavyweight Championship. But then things went absolutely south in this promo specifically, because then as they were talking about Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, I've never seen him this frustrated before. He let out the biggest crash out I've ever heard. He generally crashed out with so many just different points. But the crazy part about all these points, they are actually factual. That's the crazy part. All of these crash out, things he was saying are all valid points. All of them make sense. All of them are like it generally makes sense. So this is kind of what Heyman was basically saying. So Heyman warns the champion that Rollins needs the championship, basically saying Seth Rollins needs the championship to change his vision. Because again, right now it's in Rollins' mind, it's his vision, it's his WWE. No more Roman. Now he's kind of acting like, and I think my friend Nate said it best. He's acting kind of like the tribal chief in a way of saying, "This is my vision." That's what Roman wanted. Roman wanted his vision of holding all the gold and everything. Same thing for Rollins. Very interesting.
Yeah, true. True.
Heyman warns the champion that Rollins needs to be the champion, which prompted Uso to accepting a challenge on the spot. So yeah, basically after this promo, Uso was so fired up, he basically gave Seth Rollins a championship match tonight. Not next week, not the pay-per-view, not a Money in the Bank. Tonight, in the main event, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. This title match, the last time these two fought for a championship, was I believe it was in 2023-2022 when Seth Rollins was the World Heavyweight Champion and Jey Uso got a number one contendership for it. Rollins gave him an opportunity that night. The match went about 20 minutes long, and Seth Rollins did pick up the victory. But Jey looked really good that night and proved that he could be a world champion at that time. Basically, speaking of last week, Uso ignored what happened to Sami Zayn. He is more concerned with Roman Reigns' downfall, which led to even more into hope Zayn turns, obviously just like what they're thinking is potential Zayn heel turn, which it definitely looked interesting seeing from Zayn's perspective later on in the night. But basically, this is probably the most passionate Paul I've ever seen in my life. This dude was just crazy. Like, just Paul Heyman's promo was wild. Like, it was probably the most passionate Paul I've ever ever seen. Like, it was
Yeah, very passionate, very
like, good
angry,
God.
very like I'm the bad guy, like I'm the bad person. I mean, that's what it was. It was like
Yeah.
a validation of I did what I did because of people using me. Punk, I mean, Paul Heyman didn't want to betray Punk, but he felt that Punk forced him to be in a situation that he did not want to be in with the
Ex-
tribal chief, with
yes.
Roman Reigns.
There's a
And what did
specific.
Roman Reigns do?
Hmm.
He said that he's doing the same thing,
He's doing the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
putting him in a situation he does not want to be in. To
Do not
I
want to
mean,
be
this
in
is
it.
so all over the place.
It's okay. It's okay.
Um,
No worries. Don't worry
um,
about it.
he doesn't want him to be a part of the situation
Yeah.
of being involved with his best friend in CM Punk.
Hmm.
So what is best
Yeah.
for business? What is the best thing to do? Go with the person that even though threatened him, even though tried to almost kill him,
Mm.
go with a person that maybe you can trust more than
Yeah.
these two.
Hmm.
More than I just had enough. It's
Yeah.
time to move on. It's time to move on from the tribal chief who I have made into the world championship. And that's what he did. He said, I took a big dog, a stray dog, and I from the island of irrelevancy and made him into the face of WWE and ruled WWE for the last 5 years. I created a titan in Roman
Yeah.
Reigns.
Yeah. Yeah. I have this line. Yeah, right here. So this is the line here. Um, let me see. Let me see. Number training. Okay, yeah, it's right here. So yeah, basically he talks about Roman's basically his cousin, and that's it. What did Roman think he would do? Sell his secrets to CM Punk? Why would
Yeah.
Heyman do that after building up the bloodline for 5 years? Crowd loyalty boost, of course. Heyman says he found a stray big dog on the island of irrelevancy and turned him into the tribal chief and the ruler of the WWE Universe. They were the undisputed WWE Championship for 1,316 days. Heyman is not the one who blew it by getting beaten by Cody Rhodes after being distracted by Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Basically, a valid fucking point. That's the reason
Yeah.
why Roman lost his title was because he got into his ego. That storytelling of like
Yeah,
Roman
his
just
ego.
he literally can't he just can't stand Seth Rollins and the way he stabbed him in the back with the shield. Like it just like the ego trip was way too high. If he didn't do that ego trip, probably Roman Reigns is still champion and Cody does not lose. So it literally the storytelling on top of storytelling. And then he also said, he brought up like bringing the Tungans with Solo, Jacob, and the Tungan brothers getting put through a table that nearly ended his career, his 40-year career. And then basically he's like, basically Heyman basically even brought up a good point. Roman didn't come back to avenge Mr. Heyman, even though he called him later on.
Yeah.
He came to get his Ulafala back, the thing that basically gave Roman control. And basically, yeah, basically just saying like he went for Ulafala instead, who couldn't handle the fact that he wanted his best friend to live in his dream. And then from there, then Heyman just shouts out. This is where he's just losing his mind. Shouts out,
Yeah.
"You," and this is his line. This line was crazy.
Yep.
Heyman shouts, "And you blame me? Screw you!" Literally
You
just
blame
said,
me!
"You
You
boo
blame
me?"
me! Screw
Like,
you!
screw
And
you,
screw all of you.
you, and literally
Yeah.
the whole crowd and
But
Jay.
this is something Heyman has not done since probably his ECW days. He has not
And
said anything to the crowd to insult them or anything. He's been mutual respectful, but also
mutual
just little
respect.
jabs here and there
Yeah,
that turned out very big. But he
yeah.
has never shouted out crazy shit in front of
That's
the
what
crowd.
that's what everybody kind of like all the like the people that were reviewing the show previous
Yeah.
were like
And this is
that's
a new
that's the
Heyman.
version. Yeah, this is the version they see. They see the ECW version of Paul right now. I'm like,
Yes,
I
this
agree with you
Yeah,
cuz
this is a
god
mix of
damn.
that, but with the advocacy. This is
Yeah.
a mix of
Yeah.
the advocate too.
Yeah, like I see that comparison of the Advocate mixed with ECW. Like it's just way
Yeah,
more aggressive. It's really aggressive, and that just might be because of the feeling of working with a monster and Braun Breaker. Just the feeling of working with a guy like that. yeah, you could tell there's definitely going to be some emotion there, and you could tell it's definitely there. But basically, to wrap it up, he gives him the match for Seth Rollins later tonight, and then basically backstage they had a backstage thing where basically Heyman enters with Rollins and Breakker, and Paul, with this smirky smile, says he fell for it. So it was the plan the whole time to give Seth
Yeah.
Rollins a world title match. That's the whole plan, and guess what? It fucking worked. So, later tonight, when we get to our main event, it is Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso's first World Championship defense since winning it at WrestleMania against Gunther.
Yep.
That's what it led to. And that was the segment, but my god. Fucking segment of the night. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, no, it was.
Oh my
It
god.
was. And not only that though, but the talk of Seth Rollins, talent of Jey Uso accepting the challenge for Seth Rollins going after the world title, turned out it was later that night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, not in Money in the Bank, not at Backlash. Nope. Right on the spot. Main event, Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, world title. That's your main event. That was your main event of the night. And for good reason, because later on, when we talk about the match, they explain, my god, it was brilliant. But yeah, to wrap it up, the first segment, unbelievable segment from Paul Heyman. Just, oh my god, he's so fucking good at what he does. It's ridiculous how good Paul Heyman was. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, the floor is yours, because you got the next thing.
Yeah, no, wait, what was it again? Sorry, I've been getting texts all over the place today.
Penta versus JD McDonough.
Oh, yes. This match. This was a great match. This
Agreed.
is what I wanted to see from both JD McDonough and Penta. Now, to be honest, I wanted Penta to win, but at the same time, I was cheering also a little bit for JD because he hasn't had a big win in a while, since probably winning
That's
the
true.
tag team titles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like that he deserved a big win, and it would be against Penta. Which, that didn't happen. I believe Penta won that match. But,
Penta did win that
the
match.
The match delivered.
No, the match was very good, yeah. No, the match was
Delivered.
match was delivering,
And I
100%.
believe there was some interferences, but I believe, who was another one? Was there interference in that one? I don't think so.
I know there was people
think
there with
was.
JD, but
Yes.
I think, actually, I think there was, because I think Finn tried to kind of help.
Yes, Carlito and Finn.
Yeah, Carlito and Finn.
That out.
Finn helped JD for a second, and then that didn't work because Penta kicked out. And then Carlito tried, and that didn't work either because both of them got ejected, and it looked like finally JD was going to take advantage, but then Penta won right after. Penta won with the Mexican Destroyer for the win. So, yeah, it led to not only 2 ejections, but a loss for JD because Finn and Carlito tried to get their hands on Penta and kind of screw him over.
Yeah. And again, a lot of miscommunication from Judgment Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Considering even, as we go into backstage now, they're still talking and everything, and look at everybody. Everyone is holding a title except for Carlito and Finn, but Finn,
you forgot one extra detail. El Grande Americano, aka Gable, came out. Forgot to say that.
That was it.
Forgot to say that.
Americano, aka Chad Gable,
Indeed.
tried to interfere in this match. But, of course, Penta did see it coming, and he was able to do a Tonkon Hero onto the outside.
Yes.
And then, of course, hitting the Penta driver for the 1, 2, and 3 to finish off his match with JD.
Yeah, hit that Mexican Destroyer. Done.
Yep. And which, like I said, we both said that Chad Gable and Penta are not done by a long shot.
Hell no. Absolutely not. No way.
And I do believe this will be after Backlash, that we will be getting the continuation of this feud. Because it was just announced that Penta is fighting Dirty Dom
for the IC title.
Dominic's first title defense.
For the IC title. Yeah, this would be... Actually, no. He defended at Raw after Mania against Penta, so...
Oh, yes.
It would be his second title defense.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
But this is the rematch. The first time they had it on after WrestleMania, JD got involved and almost gave Dom. Oh, actually no. Well, yeah, gave Dom the win and
Penta almost
retained.
won. Yeah.
Yeah, Penta almost won, and then Dom got involved, and they're like, "Oh shit!" So, and then JD came back. We're like, "Oh damn, JD's back." So JD returned and tried to
Yes.
help Dom basically win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But
and it
Penta
worked.
gets his rematch, and
Penta
we'll
gets his
see if
rematch.
he
Yeah.
gets costed the title again, or is he gonna lose fair? That's the question.
And we'll be doing predictions for that tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting conversation for sure.
Yes.
Um, but as you were saying with like the backstage, yeah, and there's a segment later on this show that actually involves someone that Finn knows very well,
Oh
very
yes.
well, and we'll talk about that later. But it is something to keep in mind. A good win for Penta, obviously going into the pay per view. Um, Again, like I said, Penta and Dom have already shown alone that they can have green matches. This is going to be another one in their early career collection of matches they're going to have for years to come. Like these two are going to be having matches for years. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, Dom, one of my favorites in that IC division. Now he has his first true test on pay per view against Penta. So it should be fun. Going to be a fun match, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Um, then we had a little backstage stint backstage with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. A-Town Down Under is falling apart at the seams.
Yep.
So basically, behind Theory's back, Waller tried to get a singles match for himself. But Pierce was not budging. Pierce was like, no, I don't want to do that. Don't you have a partner you have to focus on? And then Theory walks in and he's like, hey, what's going on here? It's like, oh, I actually want to give you my singles match. He's like, oh, really? Me in the singles match? Well, I haven't done that in a while. Let's do it. And basically, Grace's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you a singles match. And Pierce said, you want a singles match? Is that what you want? And Theory's like, yeah, give me a singles match. And Pierce said, okay, I'll give you a singles match. I got someone for you. So it was confirmed. Austin Theory was going to face singles guy. But as they were
Yep.
leaving, Austin Theory said, hey, but Waller, who am I facing? And he's like, don't worry about it. It'll be a surprise. And Theory's like, okay. So basically, Theory has no idea who the hell he's going to face. He has no clue at the moment. So then they go down to the ring after we come back from commercial, after some Netflix stuff. As the commercial goes through, they obviously announced some UFC fighter was there, and they announced obviously for TKO. They're doing like a big mega event for TKO when it comes to WWE this month in coming up in Florida, in Tampa. They're going to be doing a Saturday night's main event. They're going to be doing a Monday Night Raw and NXT Battleground. Will all be on that same week in the same arena. So kind of a cool Tampa takeover. Anyways, so then we come back from break, and now it is finally time to find out who is Austin Theory going to fight. It could be anyone on the roster. It could be anyone on the brand. Who's it going to
Yeah.
be? It's a man who hasn't been seen in quite some time, actually. It's Sheamus, the Celtic Warrior. Fella is back. So he basically, surprisingly, had nothing to do with Mania. I thought he was going to be doing something at Mania. He had nothing to do, so it's kind of saddening. But he is back, and he's returned, and he looks good as always. And then him and Theory had a really good back and forth match, while Waller just watches in just sadness and disgust, just like, damn, I threw my friend to the wolves, like, oh man. But again, but Mr. Waller, I just want to reiterate, sir, you're the one that said Theory should get the singles match. That was supposed to be your match. You not only shaded this man to getting a match with Sheamus, which is already a red flag, but you also kind of like, hey, bro, like, it probably would have been my singles match, but I'm actually kind of glad I didn't. But you just fed Theory to the wolves, so you kind of did a double, like, hey, bro, what the hell? Like, I don't know how Theory was like, oh, yeah, no, let me, oh, yeah, let me just not fight anyone, and just kind of just be like, whatever. But, like, bro, like, you threw him to the wolves, bro. You're the one who threw him against
Yeah.
Sheamus. Like, that's on you, Waller. Like, what do you not understand? It's on you, bro. Like, what the fuck is this? So, I thought that was absolutely wild. So, that's funny that he was like, oh, yeah, don't need to throw him into the wolves, but you just threw him into it. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, so that basically happens. Sheamus obviously wins his return. Looks really good. I mean, dude hasn't lost a step. Dude looks like $1 million.
Yeah, he
So
does. He really
he looks
does.
really good for his age. And it's happy to see Sheamus back. I'm actually excited to see what Sheamus is going to do. He did point at Waller, so I could potentially see those two have a singles match. But then after
Probably
that,
next week.
yeah, probably next week. After that, I would assume obviously go for the IC title, and
Yeah.
get back into that
Continue
division
on to trying to finish his story and of becoming a Grand Slam champion.
and become an IC champion because he's never done it in his
Yeah.
career. The one time you would think he'd win in his career, never did it
Yeah.
before. So yeah, but yeah,
And
solid
again,
match.
you know, Sheamus is already a muscle for interrupted.
Yeah,
I
no
was just
good.
gonna say that Sheamus is first ballot Hall of Famer. He's
Yes.
done it all in WWE
Yeah.
except for the IC title.
Mhm. 100%.
And I'm curious to see what his direction is gonna go. If whether he's gonna continue going after that title, or going
Mhm.
into the world title scene.
Mhm. 100%.
But
100%.
But I do hope that the plan is to continue with him on the Intercontinental Championship because I want to see him at least have this run because we don't know how long we're going to get Sheamus for. He's
Yeah, we
already
don't
pushing
know.
up to almost already in his 50s almost. I believe
Mhm.
he's already in his mid
Yeah.
40s, going
Yeah.
into 50s.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want him to win at least a title one last time if it is going to be his last time, and
Mhm.
having a good run with him.
Mhm. For sure. Absolutely. 100% agree with that sentiment. Yeah, good win for Sheamus. Super excited to see what's next. So now we get to the Judgment Day segment. I guess I can add on to this. So the Judgment Day segment, JD, not happy that Chad Gable was out there. Not happy that Finn Balor kind of messed it all up with Carlito. But he was not specifically happy with Chad. And then as everything's going on, Dom's talking about, like, you know what, I gotta get ready to defend my IC title. Then after that, out comes AJ Styles, one of my goats. Yeah, AJ Styles found the Judgment Day clubhouse. He's like, it's not very hard to find. I actually asked my friend R-Truth, and I was like, that's a funny reference. But, yeah. So AJ basically walks down and says, I don't care who wins between you or Penta. I want next. He's basically saying he wants dibs. He wants next for the IC title. And I was like, okay, that's something I could get behind. AJ Styles versus Dom Dom. If Dom Dom retains the IC title or AJ Penta, that's something I could definitely sink my teeth into. I'm definitely interested in that. Um, and then obviously when AJ leaches and kind of sends a message, Dom says, Finn, you know you got to protect my title, right? Handle AJ when you can. And Finn looked like he was about to be mad at him and be like, you want me to do your dirty work? What the hell wrong with you? Like, I'm Finn Balor. What are you talking about? But then he was kind of joking around. I'll do it for you. Let's do it. AJ versus Finn. And it was confirmed later in the night. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor after Backlash that Monday will be AJ versus Finn. A match we haven't seen in a long time. That's gonna be a fun match. Prince versus Mr. Phenomenal One, because they know each other so well from
Yeah.
that Bullet Club kind of, group and
Yeah.
everything. A lot of history. It should be a
Seeing
fun
that,
match next week.
yeah. Yeah, no. It's been a minute since these guys have fought, and I think eventually that Finn will, I think Finn will do a too sweet to AJ or give him respect or something. I do see that happening. Or
It,
either that or Judgment Day tries to attack AJ Styles, but Finn Balor stops it.
just like there's no point. Like I respect him too much, and kind of start where like, okay, where does the allegiance truly lie? If you love this guy, then why are you part of our group? You should not be here. I could see something like that for sure, especially since it is kind of something I want because again, AJ is getting close to those years where he's about to wrap it up. A
Yeah, no,
two,
this is his final year. I
a,
think
a
this year,
two,
next year.
a too sweet reunion before he wraps it up in about a year or two. It's not a bad idea, and something that WWE kind of did with Liv Morgan when Finn was a face before he went to Judgment Day. But at that time, Finn was so cold and had like nothing to do. It just didn't make sense. But this time around, it could be a fun reunion. Face AJ and face Finn working together. Maybe going for singles gold. Maybe they go for tag gold like Bullet Club. That could spice up the tag division a little bit. I can't even lie to you.
And here's the thing, though. I feel like that low key. I will want AJ to have another tag team title run, but with the right person.
And Finn Balor, I think it's that right dude. They know each other so well. There's so much history there, especially with Bullet Club and everything. It makes sense. That Too Sweet reunion makes sense, and I hope.
Or who knows, the Tongans, aka Tamatonga and
Oh,
Tongaloa,
true. Well,
Depending if they get traded or they split away from the bloodline, they reunite with their friends. Balor
maybe,
and Finn.
maybe. Yeah, because
I
the only
could see that
person I could
happening.
think of if they were still in the company was probably the club. The club would have been the perfect idea for this. But again, obviously they got released and everything, and obviously it's kind of been
Yeah.
now they got the different thing, which they're doing a different thing in a different company, which I'm super excited for them. They're having a fun match the Sunday after Backlash. That's gonna be a fun show to watch. But yeah, like yeah, I think Finn and AJ as a reunion could be a lot of fun, especially since they showed signs of potential when they were baby faces, and this could maybe get Finn back on the winning track. Maybe him going, back to face and being like, the Balor Club style Finn. Maybe that's what Finn needs. If Finn wants
Yeah.
to, show that he's got a lot left in the tank, which I think he does, and
Yeah.
not fall
He's
into the
also
cycle.
going into his mid 40s already now. I mean, I think he's now in his early 40s now, but he's already
Yeah,
going into his mid 40s.
yeah.
And the one thing that I feel that has left a big hiccup in his time in WWE has been, his finishing his story in the world title scene with
Mm,
Universal. Because
mm,
without that, he was the Universal Champion for only one day. Like Gunther said in this way,
mm.
you were only the best in the world for one
For
night.
one day, for one
And
night.
that
Yeah,
was it.
that was
That
it.
was it.
But
After
he's
that, that injury changed his career, I think.
But again, the difference is he still somewhat before he went to heel
Yeah,
did a lot. He basically reinvented himself in NXT, which was
yeah.
still crazy to this day. Won the NXT title, won the IC title,
Twice,
won
twice.
twice, won the US title. He's won every other title you could think of, and tag titles. Has won every single title you could think of, except for the main thing that people will always remember you for, the world title. Something that he's never won. It's sad. It's a sad truth. He should have been a world champion many
Not
years
just that he
ago.
hadn't won, but he never had a reign.
Yeah, he didn't have a ring. He had it won, but then again, like I said, injuries happen, is what it is. But my point is yeah, he never had a reign with it. He didn't have a chance to. It was again, it was out of his control. It wasn't his fault. Just out of his control. But again, he just didn't have a title reign with it. Like they did not give him that opportunity because he got hurt. If he didn't get hurt, then maybe we do have that elusive Finn Balor reign. Maybe we do. But it's the biggest what if. You never know. But again, there's still time for that. But again, the only way you get that interest back for him is to go face. Like I think that's the only way Finn gets that change back. And maybe AJ is the one to bring it out of him. Maybe AJ is the one to get Finn out of this situation of being, this heel Judgment Day. Maybe AJ's the one. Maybe AJ's like, maybe he needs just an old friend to just talk about, not being with these dudes anymore. Because again, Finn has basically outgrown the Judgment Day so much at this point.
Yeah, I think
So
he has. And
he's
not just
outgrown
that
it.
though, because they've gotten more success than he has,
Oh yeah.
except for the
Oh
tag
yeah.
titles. But look what Damian Priest did. Damian Priest won the world title, cashed in at WrestleMania, won at WrestleMania, the biggest stage of them all, got his
Yeah.
moment at
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley won the SmackDown title at
Yeah.
WrestleMania, got her big WrestleMania moment.
Mhm.
And again, for winning WrestleMania, because I believe she still was the champion.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she became the new world champion.
Yeah.
Dominic now just recently got his WrestleMania moment.
IC
One what
title.
his father and uncle have won for many years. The Intercontinental Championship
Another
and won his
championship.
first official main roster
Yeah.
title in WWE.
Yeah.
He's got every Judgment Day member has got every original member
Yeah.
of Judgment Day has gotten their moment
Their
at
moment.
WrestleMania,
Yeah.
except for Finn.
Except for Finn. Yeah. Finn's the only one. Finn is the only one out of all the original Judgment Day members before Ed, originally it was going to be Edge's group, then it turned, obviously Edge left and everything.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
like, it literally, like, yeah, yeah,
And he didn't, and not only that though, he did not like
yeah.
the direction of Judgment
No,
Day.
he did not like the
That was the main reason.
superhuman, yeah, the
Yeah,
superhuman thing. And luckily Triple H didn't go that direction either. Triple H went a different
yeah,
direction, which worked out in the end. And Edge just said that on many accounts. It worked out a lot better in the end than he wanted it. So at least they
yeah.
kept his word and were like, yeah, we're not gonna go superhuman with them. Thank God. But my point is basically, yeah, that original group. Yeah, Finn's the only one. Everyone else has had their moment. Dom is starting to get his now. Finn hasn't had that moment yet. Hopefully that changes, and maybe, like I said, going away from the Judgment Day, when you need out of a group and you need this fresh start. Maybe that's what Finn needs. Maybe Finn just needs out, so Finn can focus on himself. Maybe that's what it
Yeah,
is. Which, if that's the case, then maybe AJ's the guy to start.
doing that.
Either the one to do it or to start to get to Finn to realize you don't need to be with these guys anymore. Focus on you, kind of thing. Maybe he just needs that kind of talk of realization. I should probably go on my own because it's the only way Finn Balor could potentially get back into that limelight. Because again, I do want Finn to at least have one big world title reign before he calls it. But again, the only way for me to convince myself, yeah, he can do it, is if he leaves the Judgment Day and goes face. That's the only way I could see it. There's just no other way. Because if he continues with this kind of soul play and trying to just be Dom's kind of servant, I'm gonna be like, bro, Finn, don't you want to do goals for yourself? Like, I know you want to help Dom and you're happy for that guy, and I respect that because of where Dom's come from. But don't you want to have the same success as Dom? I know it burns inside you. Or is you gonna be his lapdog and just continue to help him? Like that just doesn't seem like a Finn Balor mindset at all. So
Yeah,
so
no,
hopefully AJ, not like after the match, but after, it seems like they're gonna be doing a little program. After this little program, it wakes up Finn and says like, okay, I need to consider my options. I need to consider my options. So hopefully that pops up, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, you're up because it's time for Becky Lynch to address Lyra
yeah,
Valkyria.
yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria have been going through this rivalry since Becky Lynch turned on her student at WrestleMania 41.
Very much true.
I was shocked, but at the same time, I think this was a good move. This was a very good move,
Hmm.
and I think that yeah, Becky Lynch just wants everyone to know that she did all this. She revolutionized WWE women's wrestling for a generation,
Hmm.
more than the Four Horsewomen did, more than
Hmm.
Charlotte did, as a matter of fact. And not only that, though, she took credit for the one attacking Bailey
Hmm.
at WrestleMania and costing her the match, even though technically we know that that was a lie and that it's not a lie, but they're saying that they have different creative plans for her. But
Hmm.
even though I think that was a stupid decision
Hmm.
to do that,
Hmm.
to take away a WrestleMania moment,
Yeah.
but as long as it leads to something big, that's all I want to know. That's all. That's all I hope it does. It leads
Becky
to
has
something
alluded. I
big.
think it was in her first promo when she first turned on Lyra.
Yeah.
She alluded that she obviously did attack Bailey, and she really broke her down tonight in this part. She really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So it
And not only
shows
that
that she's
though.
still in the story. Obviously, yes, the focus
Yeah.
is Lyra right now, but there is a point where Bailey will come back. It seems like, and that's going to be the feud. Which in the end, I'm okay with because again, these two haven't feuded in so long. It could be a nice return to form, even though it's two different things. Bailey's the face and now Becky's the heel. It's two different things. So,
Yeah. No. And to continue on that now yeah, now Lyra is just stunned and confused, but now it's like, really? After all this time? At the end of the day, this was last week, I mean, actually, no, today, I made my own success in WWE. You might have taught me, and I will always respect you as a wrestler, as a teacher,
mm-hmm,
but at the end of the day, I made my own success. I became the
mm-hmm,
first Intercontinental Champion in women's history, something you haven't done yet, that I did before
mm,
you. Something I did before you. So I think
yeah,
that was a little jab. And I gotta admit though, I have loved Lyra Valkyria as women's champion. Matter of fact, here, let's give her a hand clap.
yeah.
Let's
Round
give
of
her a hand
applause to
clap,
Lara
cause
Valkyria with the IC title.
I
Round
will
of
admit
applause.
this. As much as I don't understand what her gimmick is right now, I feel like
Mm,
she's delivered. Especially now on the mic. She has
yeah,
delivered on the mic against one of the best women currently in WWE right now. One of the faces of the
yeah,
women's division in WWE right now. And I
yeah.
can't wait to see the match. She's a hell of a wrestler and performer too.
Oh yeah.
And I cannot wait to see their match because I do think this is going to be a banger.
I do want to
We were
talk
talking,
about.
yeah,
I do want to talk about from Becky's side. That was probably the most entertaining I've seen Becky in a while. This
Yes.
crash out version of Becky where she's just so frustrated. It's funny too, I did even more research for this. I watched her Raw recap interview with Sam Roberts and Megan Bryant. She just went off on everybody. She went off on Liv. She went off on the women's division as a whole. Like, it feels like she's kind of like this trailblazer that's just tired of being in weight after coming back from injury and everything, or coming back from like a mini retirement basically, where she went to go promote her book and everything, and focus on family and obviously be a mother, of course. But it's always hard to balance that with wrestling. But she was so so game for it. But this is easily the best version of Becky Lynch when she's the heel, the man, and is just crashing out and going off on everybody. That's where Becky is at her strongest. And that showed
Yeah.
in that promo with Lyra when she first attacked Lyra, and then also the promo this week where she explained even more. Yeah, this was the best version of Becky Lynch, and it got me so entertained for the first time in a minute. Because it's not that I don't love, face man Becky Lynch. When she returned to the man and stopped being big time Bex, it was such a weight off my shoulders. I was like, thank God. But again, it did get to that point where what we were going to do with her after the Trish feud, I didn't know. So the fact that she took that vacation after that meeting and gave Rhea that moment, I was very grateful for her. I'm like, she needs a break. She needs to regenerize herself and reinvent herself. And I, so far, with this kind of angrier version of herself that she hasn't had in a minute, I've really enjoyed her work. I really have. This kind of crash out kind of Becky where she's just kind of letting it all out, her frustrations, has been some of her best work in years. Like, it's really been strong. I've really loved her work so far. Because, like I said, years ago when she was big time Bex, I didn't love that heel turn. I actually hated it, actually. It made me annoyed. It made me annoyed every time they would say big time Bex, because it was just so stupid. But
Yeah, no, it was just done
it
terrible.
was so dumb. But when she finally became back as the man and as a babyface, I was like, there's hope. And yes, I will say the babyface didn't run his track or anything. She was still consistent. But when I heard she was going on like this mini retirement to just take a break and focus on her book and everything, I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to leave. Get yourself back, and then we'll see what you do when you get back. And now I kind of see what they're doing to get back. They're basically making you be sympathetic to Bayley because she lost her spot, but also adding that heel factor that gives Becky even more heat than she's already had. It's actually kind of genius, actually. It's fucked up, but it's genius because now when Bayley gets back, everybody's going to lose their mind when Bayley gets back and pop and be like, Bayley, go get your spot. Go get the spot that you deserved. Situation. And also another potential generational feud because when these two feud is always great. Like when Bayley and Becky always feud, it's always really, really good stuff. So in general, I'm really happy with what Becky's doing right now. And while
Yeah.
I do have this suspicion feeling, and I'll obviously go more in depth in my predictions tomorrow,
Yes.
I do kind of have that feeling that we might get a new champion,
Yeah.
and it might
Yeah,
lead into
same here.
something else. But that
Yes.
doesn't mean it's gloom and doom for Lyra fans. I don't think so.
No.
I think this is
And
gonna
not just
be
that though. She's been having a really good run with that IC title.
matchup wise, absolutely. It's just the Raw division is so slim right now. It's hard to kind of figure out who else goes after other than like Ivy Nile, now Bayley, and now Becky. So now Becky holding that women's IC title is going to elevate that title a little bit more so we can really get kind of that like, okay, like premier division kind of level kind of stuff for Becky, which is okay with me. Because like for me, the one division that was having a fun time, they just didn't have as many competitors, kind of the same issue with Raw. But the difference was the character work was so good, was Chelsea Green. The character work in Chelsea Green's US title run was excellent. That's why people kept tuning in because her work was so strong. Like when she would come on TV, it was so good. Like it would like when she would come on TV and do like her, her president, gimmick. It was so entertaining. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten there with Lyra character wise, but she's shown signs of potential. And that's what I think this IC title run is for, is to prove that Lyra has the potential to be a great women's wrestler and a potential story woman. And I think so far so good. Especially with Becky, so far so good. So even on a short build too, this has been a short build. It's been really
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, it's
So
been enjoyable.
so if
I
this is
will.
it for Lyra, while I do, and again, this is me obviously grieving for someone that just got released, Dakota. I still believe Dakota should have been the one. But with everything, I can respect that they went to Lyra and gave her a chance to prove herself. And I think in ring wise, they proved to her a lot. But I will say, Lyra's promo that night gave me hope that they need to let her speak on the mic more. I think that's the thing that she's missing, is mic time. Because she has the in-ring ability to be great, but she needs
Yeah.
more in-ring experience. But they
Yeah,
haven't given her that.
yeah, and it's like now they're starting to slowly do that from the looks, especially after this past year. They're
Yes, a
starting to
hundred
slowly do
percent.
that.
Like I've been waiting for a passionate Lyra like this because she did the same thing in NXT. She was super passionate in NXT, but
Yeah,
they didn't give her that in the main roster when she came in. She was super bubbly, of course, happy to be there, of course, because
right.
again she was one of the biggest premier draft picks, and I respect it. And they definitely continued with her. They didn't give up on her because she won a championship, so they did not give up on Lyra that quickly. But they didn't give her the mic time that she needs to build story. And hopefully now, after what she did with Becky, especially after this feud, Lyra can talk on the mic more because she's shown the potential of a really good woman on the mic. She did some great work with Becky on Monday. Like it was really good stuff. So I think it was great. So I hope they let Lyra speak more in the future because I think she deserves that mic time. She definitely does.
Yeah, no, I agree, and wish them nothing but the best, whatever the result will be. And but I think yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be real good, and I hope it leads to something with Bailey, Bailey and Becky,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I do admit that actually no, we both agree that that Bailey shouldn't have missed WrestleMania.
If they had the story in place like months in advance where Bailey was going to get attacked by a mystery assailant, I wouldn't have hated it as much. I would be like, you know what? It happens. But the way they built the team between Lyra and Bailey was so last minute, and they had to win a whole gauntlet match, and then just to lose that because of creative differences, even though they did an attack story, even though it wasn't really an attack story, it definitely left me a bit questioning. Like, so then what was the point of the gauntlet match? So then what was the point of them winning? So what was the point of them losing it and then putting it back on Raquel and Liv, even though Liv is out on a movie right now, which she should be wrapping up soon. Still, like, a lot of questions. A lot of questions than answers, let's just put it that way. It definitely made me question the booking there and that decision, whoever made that call. Does make me question a little bit. And I get it, you wanted to have Becky on WrestleMania, she was there at the Netflix premiere that week, and she was there, don't get me wrong, she was in Vegas. I get that. But you could have done it in such a different way. You didn't have to do it through that way. Like, they could have planned this in months in advance and be like, okay, Bailey's gonna get attacked by a mystery assailant. We don't know who it is, and then we figure out it is Becky. You could have done something like that, and I would be like, you know what? It's story for Bailey. I could, even though it's for the tag titles, I could live with the story. That's fine. But no, they went a weird way, and they kind of approached it in a weird way to get Becky back. But I will say, it is leading to probably one of my favorite Lyra stories that she's had in her run. I'll give it that. So there's a yin and the yang with that for sure. But I still do think it is fucked up. I just hope Bailey does get involved in this. It would suck if they just kind of null and gave Bailey's existence. But again, they're talking to her. They're talking about her a lot, so I think she is involved in this. They're just kind of waiting for that perfect opportunity to bring Bailey back, which is fine by me as long as she's involved in this. So I do agree there. So yeah. So real quick, I won't go too long in this. Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky, non-title. Really fun singles match. Probably my second favorite match of the night. These two women went out there and put on a show. Roxanne Perez continues to show that she is a star in the making when it comes to these Monday Night Raw appearances. She's already had a chance to fight Rhea. She's already had a chance to fight Io. And it was really good stuff. It was super competitive. Really, really, really good match. And it was just excellent. Like, it was such good work between Roxanne and Io. And I've been loving how WWE's been giving these next call-ups or NXT talent some love on Monday Night Raw, which is leading to me that the rumor right now is those two are going to be called up whenever the draft gets announced. They're going to be called up, which I think is absolutely the right call, especially for Roxanne. I think Roxanne is definitely ready at this point. We'll see about Julia. But yeah, really love what they did there. Um, the back and forth was awesome. The transitions between both was excellent. Love the technical work of Roxanne to the leg. Um, and yeah, just really, really, really good stuff. Like unbelievable work between Io
Yeah.
and Roxanne on this night. And a great win for Io. She did pick up the win. But Julia did come out after and attack, sending a message. It looked like they were going to do a sign of respect, but then Julia went after that leg again. Um, Basically, since unfortunately Rhea Ripley is actually in Perth right now, who's going to be returning to the States this week. She was doing promotion for Perth in Australia because they're doing a crown jewel over there in Australia. They're moving it over. So she was doing promotion with that with Waller and everything, and she basically could not come back. So they basically attacked Io with no Rhea. But it was confirmed, as we kind of predicted, it is a tag team match. It is going to be the team of Julia and Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley next week. So next week we get that blow-off tag match of all four women basically battling each other in a epic tag match. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. But yeah, really good match. And I very much enjoyed it. It was very good.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. It was a hell of a match.
All right. So let's see. I believe you have next. Yes, yeah, yeah.
And you just did what?
I did the women's one. Actually, wait, no, I said I'll take Rusev. I'll take Rusev, and then I'll give you Pat.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
All right, next, the return of one of my favorites, Rusev Day. It's Rusev Day. That's right. Alexander Rusev makes his WWE return in one-on-one action against one of my favorites, the Alpha Academy's Otis. Big boy Otis. Take. So, this led last week at the Raw after WrestleMania, which really felt like a party. It was really something else. The return of Alexander Rusev. Basically, New Day were having a segment, and then Alpha Academy like, you never beat us. We want to fight for the tag titles. And then as it was about to happen, lights go down. Out comes the Bulgarian brute, Rusev, former Miro of All Elite. He comes in, destroys Cesaro, destroys Otis. New Day get out of Dodge for a reason and just decimate. So then it was announced the following week, Rusev will make his in-ring return against Otis. And Rusev had a promo on social media the day of saying basically, you know, I don't want to hurt you, Otis, but I want to bring that monster out of you. Basically saying, I want to bring the best out of you. I don't want, because your size and your power is incredible, but you dancing around is not what I want. Like, I want to see the true monster in Otis. And I was like, damn, Rusev really bringing some good-ass goddamn points. Good God. So I was really impressed with this promo and stuff with that, because he kind of bought that kind of Redeemer style. If you know what he did in AEW, he was a different kind of Rusev. He wasn't like the Russian or like, you know, the May God of like the goddess, which was his wife Lana and everything.
Yeah.
And then obviously, but now he's like Bulgarian, like Redeemer style, like trying to
Redeemer,
get the best.
Honestly, in my words, I would say the Redeemer Reborn.
The Redeemed Reborn. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Redeemer Reborn.
Absolutely. Because it's basically the same Redeemer style that he did in AEW, but the difference is he's trying to redeem for lost time because he hasn't been there in over 5 years. So he's trying to redeem that time back. And starting with Otis is definitely a battle of the big man for sure. And obviously this one didn't go as long, of course, but it was still a really fun matchup. Two big monsters going at it. And, you know, it took a lot to take Otis. Otis was really bringing it to Rusev, finally showing that kind of darker side. But again, it just wasn't enough because Rusev, just incredible athlete, you know, Matsuka kick, and then obviously he brought back the Accolade, which is a brutal, devastating finisher, and just sent the message to Otis of, bring out that darker side of you more. Basically, sending a message of, you know, I'm basically here not to hurt you, but I'm here to bring the best out of you. Because he sees the potential in Otis as a monster, but all the dancing and all the laughingness and everything, he doesn't want to see that. He wants serious Otis. He want the Otis that will crush anybody because of his size, 300 plus pounds. And Russo definitely
Yeah.
bought that side of him, especially on the outside where he like did him on the table and everything. Otis showed that potential. But again, it wasn't enough because Rusev basically had to punish Otis specifically to get the win. He does get the win, and basically Tozawa, which Tozawa, I respect everything about you, but you stepping up to Rusev is like the dumbest thing you could ever do. Tries to step up to Rusev, and that shit goes horribly wrong because Rusev thinks he's like, I don't want to deal with this. He gets back in the ring, he lifts him up in a gut wrench suplex and drops him onto Otis with literally just like, oh damn, just you shouldn't have posed them in the beginning, Tozawa. I respect you were defending your brothers, I get it, but yeah, not the best idea. So that happens, and then from there, Rusev does another accolade in Otis while Maxine and the manager looks in horror as this monster has been let loose on Monday Night Raw. So Rusev sending a message to not only the locker room, but to Otis and the rest of the team that he is not here to play around. But what a return for Rusev. Rusev looks so much at peace. Like you could tell, he definitely feels very happy to be back. Like he doesn't. It doesn't feel like he's depressed. He's got, he's ready to let loose, and I miss him, man. Title potential for
Yeah.
Rusev now more than ever is up
Yeah.
there on my
For me,
category. It's up
especially
there.
that world title. That
Him and that
world
world
title
title
scene
scene would go
means something.
dumb. That would go
Yeah.
dumb
Yeah.
if that
But
happens.
also, I want to shout out, Otis because I would love
I
to
do
see
as
him go
well.
after
Yeah.
the Intercontinental Championship because the big man knows how to wrestle. He knows how to,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
guys look good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A
Into
hundred
knowing
percent.
how to wrestle. And I hope that
Yeah.
sooner or later, you know, he pushes himself, or WWE gives him a little push to go after a mid card title at least.
Yeah. Give him a little something, something to do. Like give him something that
Yeah,
like he can do and prove himself. Hell, even if it's like a number one contendership, opportunity, just let him try and see if he can do. Like just let him see. Maybe he can become something. Because I see the potential. I'm one of the few that see the potential in Otis because he's not only likable with the crowd, but when he gets into that focus mode of just like angry, kind of vibe, I see it in him. I 100% see it in him. For sure, see it in him. So I would love to see more of that when he goes, like if he went singles. Like I would love to see more into that. So it would be amazing. It would be fun to see what he can do by himself, or just with Maxine, if anything, to see what he would do in the singles division. But Rusev definitely brought the best out of Otis in that match. And again, I do think there is still more to this feud. I think Rusev has a little bit more with this feud, and then we'll figure out what's next for him. Um, but yeah, really cool to see Rusev back, and I do hope. Hell, it don't even need to be world. It could be he could be like the next IC champion for all I care. I want to see a title and have a Redeemer Miro style run with a title. Like that's something I need in my life. He did it in AEW with the TNT title and reformed the TNT title division for months to come. I want to see the same thing in WWE. Even if it's not even the world title, even if it's just like IC. I would love to see that. So, but yeah, the potential of Rusev in WWE now, it's endless, man. It's just like Alistair. It's endless, bro. Like it's
yeah,
sky's the limit. That's literally how I see it. Sky's the limit is how I see it
yeah. It is.
for Rusev. Okay,
Yeah,
man.
no, it is. It is.
You're up, bro.
And
Gunther
ooh,
versus Pat. The floor is
ooh.
yours.
Even though this is short, but at the same time, the build for this has been unexpectedly good.
Good. Yeah, I would agree.
And again, this all started after the night of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Gunther did not like Cole's comments on Gunther, losing,
Mhm.
of course, but he tapped out. Gunther was tapped out of Jey Uso taking his rear naked choke and tapped him out
Yeah.
and embarrassed him at WrestleMania.
Yes.
And of course, Gunther was not going to take the comments very lightly,
Yeah.
as he was disrespecting Michael Cole in front of Pat McAfee. Then eventually he was trying to grab Cole, almost go for a choke, but Pat McAfee luckily saved Cole just in time for him to hit a big elbow strike
Yeah.
at Gunther. And
Yeah.
then there's security, everybody was holding both of them back, and Pat McAfee was not gonna let someone who's technically too emotional and too sensitive
Yeah.
and was allowing his anger to get the best of him, attack Michael Cole, who's just a commentator and just a a commentator basically, and expressing his thoughts and what he
Mhm.
thinks about Gunther losing.
Yeah,
But
and it
yeah,
basically led like I thought like I said when like everything was going on like once
yeah,
Gunther backed off of Pat I was like okay Gunther you didn't have to do that but at least you can stop and then he chokes Pat out for his troubles I'm like oh my god I, Pat was just saying his opinion like Gunther listen I love you Gunther I really do but attacking a commentator for saying in a goddamn opinion because you lost is like the worst excuse to crash out on someone.
yeah,
Like, it's your fault that you lost. You should have beat Jey Uso. At that point, you should have beat Jey Uso. That's on you, Gunther. So the fact that you crashed out on Pat, I still was like, what the hell is happening? I'm so confused. What was that? At the time. But then they had their face-to-face, um, and then, like, Pat explaining how he's just gonna go down swinging, like he's got nothing to lose. And then Gunther just straight up, I'm gonna absolutely destroy you. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be either an absolute murder or this is gonna be an interesting match on
yeah,
Saturday. But ooh, yeah,
yeah. No, and it is, and not only that though, he immediately attacked Pat McAfee when his back was turned.
yep,
Another commentator whose
uh huh,
back was turned, and a former competitor in WWE whose back was turned, got him in the rear naked choke,
yep,
almost damn near killed the man in
yeah,
front of his friends, because even his
yeah,
friends were starting to,
yeah,
was about to get at Gunther, but everybody
yeah,
was holding them back. Like, why are you holding them back?
yeah,
But of course, they wanted to not create chaos and control the event and everything and bring order, which they did.
yeah,
But it's like at the same time, like they could have at least let Gun. I mean, they shouldn't have let Gunther be able to choke Pat McAfee like that. And
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, they did. It happened. But it's all and over now. And then eventually, Pat McAfee said what he
mm,
said last week, talking about that I want to fight Gunther
yeah,
for disrespecting my friend, disrespecting all these fans,
yeah,
and I want to put him in his place.
yeah,
And yeah, no, I think that. And last week, I mean, this past Monday, it says as well that Gunther is we're gonna see a more ruthless side of Gunther. We're gonna see the more focused Gunther, the more aggressor that is Gunther, and we probably might see him kill Pat McAfee, honestly. So I hope Pat McAfee is prepared for a fight,
oh yeah.
at least, which I think he will be.
Yeah, and we'll definitely
And
go
yeah,
more in depth
yeah,
on it on Thursday. But I just want to
yeah,
say this whole line because this line gave me goddamn creeps. But like, I understand
yeah.
why Gunther did this. So this is what Gunther says. Gunther thinks about it and asks McAfee, "Did you enjoy your daughter's birthday last week?" That first line alone. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Saturday is a very special day for him, and McAfee got him in the right mood for it. His first match since WrestleMania. True. Gunther will be sharp and more focused than ever before. Gunther promises McAfee his full unadvised attention. That bell will ring on Saturday, and he will beat McAfee up. Gunther will maul him and drive his head into the mat. Gunther will choke him out until he drops like a wet towel. Gunther is in
Yep.
McAfee's face. By Gunther's grace, McAfee is untouchable on Saturday. The only grace of God. This line was fucking scary. Only in the grace of God can lift his hand off McAfee's throat. Like, yeah, you just don't say that to someone. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the
And
fuck?
not only that though, he shoved him after
Oh
that.
yeah,
He
oh
shoved
yeah.
him.
He shoved McAfee and then left the ring, basically sending McAfee, "You're fucking dead." Like, you just don't say that to a person. Like this. This Gunter line is fucking scary. Like, imagine you're having a back and forth, and the person that's trying to, beat your ass says, "Only grace of God can lift his arms off McAfee's throat." Insert name there. Like, I don't know what to say to that. Like, it's like, oh my god. The man's literally like, not even the Lord could save you until God saves you. Oh my god, like it's, ugh. Like when I heard that line, I was like, oh hell no. Like, I do not want to mess with this Gunther. Like, oh lord. Um, yeah, but that segment was absolutely wild.
No, it was. It really was. And that's why,
Good
I cannot
God.
wait. Again, I do not expect this to be long, but
No.
this has surprisingly been good for what
Yeah.
it has been, for what time it has been given. And
Yeah.
I can't wait
A
to see the
hundred
match.
percent.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. And I think this is somebody, and I think um, Pat McAfee has never faced before. He is facing
No.
a probably one of the most hardest strikers on the planet in wrestling.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He fought Austin Theory.
He fought
Underrated
Adam Cole.
wrestler. Fought
Fought
Adam
Adam
Cole.
Cole. One of the
Fucking world
best.
champion level wrestler right there.
Yes.
He's been in war games. That's pretty painful.
Yes.
However, has he fought a guy like Gunther before? No. No. This is going to be the hardest match in his career. And the most hard hitting. Like, he's going to have a chest of red when he gets back home. Because, God. Yeah, this man's going to chop him to death. It's going to be crazy. We'll go more in depth in that match tomorrow. But, God. Crazy segment. So then they show what's next week for Raw. We were already talking about it, but I'll go through it real quick. Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. First time in a long time these two will go one-on-one. These two have fought many times before in both Japan and other places, and they've also fought in WWE as Finn was the Demon Balor, who was a replacement for Bray Wyatt, May God rest his soul. And him and AJ had a replacement match at TLC as the Demon took on the phenomenal one AJ Styles, so he has fought Finn on many accounts. So that should be fun. War Raiders versus American Made. This match was not too long ago. These two have fought. They fought a couple times at this point. But this will lead to the winner. Winner will face New Day after this. So we'll see who wins that. Then we have, like I said, the only other thing that was announced: Women's World Champion Io and Rhea super team up versus Roxanne and Julia. They're going to try to teach themselves a lesson as Rhea returns to Raw and try to teach Julia and Roxanne a bit of a lesson after attacking both of them back and forth. And when Stephanie was also there as well, they also attacked Stephanie as well. So that's what leading that. Now, on to the main event. Main event. Main event Jey Uso, World Heavyweight Champion, defending against Seth frickin' Rollins. The Visionary, the Messiah, the Architect. Seth Rollins' first world title match in a long time. This is going to be fun. So, Seth Rollins' last WrestleMania match was that epic triple threat match at WrestleMania between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. He won that match, but that was because Paul Heyman broke everybody's hearts. Broke Punk's heart and broke Roman's heart, betraying the OTC. So this is Rollins' first match since then. Jey, very unprepared. Jey does not have his gear. Jey only has his street clothes and some shoes. Very unprepared for this match. But Jey's a fighter. Jey's a man that is willing to fight anybody and everybody for the world title if provoked. So Jey is that fighter. And this was back and forth. Back and forth as always. These two always have great chemistry. But especially now with these two in different sides, with main event and Seth Rollins, it was some incredible storytelling matchup-wise, these two. This was obviously my match of the night. These two went a solid 20 minutes of just back and forth, incredible action, counter after counter, finisher after finisher. There was curb stomps, there was spears, there was super kicks, there were splashes. It was so back and forth. We even had an interference from Braun Breaker that had a close fall. That didn't work. Paul also got involved. That didn't work. So much back and forth. And Rollins was minutes away because Rollins hit a beautiful curve stomp on Jay while Braun basically distracted the ref, and the ref never saw Rollins' distraction with Braun. He hits him with a curb stomp. He gets down on his knees. 1, 2, and then you hear do 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 do. Here comes CM Punk. CM Punk lied to all of us. He said in an interview he was not there tonight. The lie detector detected that was a lie. He was there tonight, and he had a chair, took out Braun Breaker, took out Seth Rollins, and sent the message that the battle lines have been drawn in this fight. Oh, and also, as I said for Sami Zayn also did come out. He came out from the crowd, though, to attack Braun Breaker to get some vengeance, but then he got killed by a spear, because that's what happens to Sami. Those ribs are also not 100%. He had a taped-up rib. You could visibly see the tape, very much so. Sami basically there. Punk was there, basically clearing out the way, and then obviously Jay also helping out, basically trying to clear all of them out. And then all three, Heyman, Rollins, and Breaker all clear out. And unfortunately, this match ended in a no contest, but it ended in a no contest for a good reason, because the storytelling is there. So I can live, like I said, when the story makes sense, and you got to go to a no contest or a DQ finish, that's fine with me. But it has to make sense. You can't just do it for no reason. So the fact that they did it for a reason, I can live with it being a no count out situation. Like I can live with it not having to finish.
Yeah, no, same thing. And I do think that this feud between Rollins and Jay will continue. I think it will continue, but at a different time. I do think that, in my personal opinion, after SummerSlam.
Yeah, this is a feud that can go on for months and months and months. Because I expect Jay to have a very lengthy world title reign. But once that world title reign is wrapped up, Rollins, I think, is the absolute perfect guy to get it off him. I think he's like the ideal person. Like, he is my number one contender to win that title back and have this new vision, this new identity of Seth. The second coming of, like, this is giving me, like, Messiah kind of vibes, where he's not quite Messiah, but he's got, like, you see the presence. Messiah, it feels like visionary. It's a mix. It's like a mix of those two, and I love that. Especially the way he was dressed. I forgot. I know we don't usually do attires when we talk about attires on Raw, but I can't lie. His purple attire.
I gotta admit.
His purple attire. His purple attire.
Better attires. Yep.
His purple attire, bro. That shit was quality.
The funny thing, that was Elimination Chamber one. That was, I believe, the Elimination Chamber attire, I believe.
Yeah, he bought it back, and it's such a nice attire. I'm excited to see some new ones when he gets on paper, because he always reveals new ones. His designer is the craziest designer in the world. It's incredible with his clothing. But yeah, this new version of Seth where, like, people are still, like, cheering him when he comes out, but there's also, like, this kind of weird vibe where people understand what he did to break the relationship of CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and trying to pretend that he's like the A guy. He's now the number one with now Paul Heyman. So it's an interesting reaction to him. But I love it because Seth is a guy that I've wanted to have this kind of spotlight for years. Like, I've been wanting him to at least get a shot to be the guy. And now he has that opportunity, especially now since he's made his mark staying on Raw and going for the world title. It only makes sense now. So, I love it, though. And Seth Rollins is someone that I can absolutely appreciate. And I love that they did this match just to, like, give us a taste of what we're gonna get. And the way they did it was beautiful. Like, these two are so good in the ring for 20 straight minutes, and it was a banger. It was so good. And then having Punk at the end, I'm excited to see what Punk's reaction is going to be. This is going to be Punk's first time talking since getting dropped by Braun Breaker on Raw when they revealed this group. I'm excited to see his first reaction.
On Braun and Rollins.
Yeah. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited to see his first reaction because again, Punk is going to
Absolutely.
be in this warfare with Sami Zayn,
Yeah.
and then if they get a third or potentially Jay swoops in here and there to help out,
Yeah.
that's your third. But I'm very intrigued because if it's not going to be Roman
Sammy.
and Punk. Well, I'm just saying, if it's not going to be
Right.
Roman Punk yet, which I do see those two potentially teaming up soon.
Oh yeah, no, I do see that tag match
Like
happening,
if
but it
they're
just depends on
if
when.
he's planning to come back
Yeah.
around June, so like a month from
Yeah.
now at Money in the
Yeah.
Bank, if that is the plan, that tag
Yeah.
match is going to go dumb. Like I get so excited
Yeah.
for that.
Stupid. Yeah.
However, for right now, we have Sami Zayn, but I am also
Yeah.
kind of questioning Sami because the way he's been reacting to Punk, I don't know where Sami lies in all this. Now, yes, Sami Zayn does deserve to get his revenge on Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins because they not only speared him like 40 fucking times, but they hit a curb stop on him that basically took him out bad. Like you could see he has hurt ribs on his chest, so he's not 100%. But I do have questions when we get down to that deeper story when potentially Roman gets back, which the plan right now, I did see Roman is set to move to Raw, which is absolutely the right move. I'm very intrigued, you know, when Roman gets back, where does his alliances land when it comes to Sammy? Because if Sammy's trying to do his own thing, cheer on his boy Jay, but he's so desperate for the world title, does Sammy go for that desperate ploy and use Seth? I'm not sure. It's something to think about because Sammy has gotten that desperate before. In the Shane McMahon feud, when he first went heel with KO, he saved KO. When Shane could have killed KO, Sammy pulled KO out of the way and was like, "No, bro, I'm not letting you die without me." So, and those two went on a rampage on SmackDown of just making Shane's life. It got Daniel Bryan to come out of retirement, kind of level story. So I'm very intrigued where Sammy goes when it comes to when Roman and Punk announced that team up, even though that relationship is also fractured in half after what Punk did. So it's going to take a lot for the Tribal Chief to understand
Yeah.
teaming up with the enemy is a good idea, even though in his head he's like, this is not a good idea. But
Yeah.
again, when
No.
you need partners, you need partners. You're desperate. You need
Yeah.
if you're gonna beat this super group of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, you're gonna need help. There's no way you do it alone. No way.
Yeah.
Especially with that
And Paul
explosive
Heyman.
beast, that machine, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I do believe we will get Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns. That is something I want in
Yeah.
my future. I want that in my
Right.
future. But good God, I couldn't imagine facing him alone. Like it would be Roman. Like when Roman came back to go after Solo. Yeah, he did it alone for a while, but to numbers was important. Jacob got in the way. Tama got in the way. Tangaloa got in the way. Solo got in the way.
Yeah.
Numbers is important in this feud. I could tell numbers is going to be a big factor going into this feud. If you don't got numbers, bro,
Yeah.
oh,
And
you're
I do
cooked.
think this though, that maybe now I don't know if they're gonna continue with Seth Rollins and Punk 1v1ing or they're saving that for a pay per view or they
It's a good
could saving
question.
that for a bigger show going into next year. But I will say this though, I think it's gonna be great. I think him and Sami Zayn also, being there's gonna be great. Same with Jay, but at the same time, Jay's focusing on Logan Paul at the moment, which
Yeah, I
he
forgot
looks
to
at
add
it.
that. I forgot to
Yeah,
add that note. Even though,
yeah,
as at the time of us recording this, there is no world title
confirmation.
match
Yeah,
that Jay's
yeah.
going to fight Logan. There's no world title right now. The only one that's announced is John Cena versus Randy Orton. And if that's
Unless
the
if they're
case,
saving that for Night of Champions,
that's what I'm
which
saying. So if they're not doing it now, that's okay. Because John and Randy could hold it down. I think I'm okay with
yes,
having one world title match on that show. I'm alright with that. So if that's the case, because again, they did do the thing where Logan said, I'm attacked from anywhere, and when we went off the air, Jay was slapping hands with fans, you know what I'm saying? And then, wow! Right hand from Logan from the crowd with the hoodie, and just ran off. So another hit and run situation. So it shows that that feud, while doing this on the low, they're basically combining stories two different ways. You got Logan and Jay, and then you have the Seth, Braun, Punk, and Sammy story.
yeah.
And then when Roman gets back, because he'll probably go
And
to
we gotta
Raw,
find out.
bada
Yeah,
boom,
yeah,
you add him into that. So that's just a revolving door over there. And then obviously, after Jay finishes off
Yeah.
Logan, well, what's going to be next for Jay after that? So there's a lot of questions that we still need answers for, except for obviously setups. Like they set up beautifully. Punk, Sammy, Rollins, Braun. And then when Roman gets back, you add him in because I think he's going to Raw. I think they set us up. They want to bring him to Raw, which makes a lot of sense. And then you have the
Yeah.
Jay situation where Jay um, is basically in a spot where he's ready to fight international superstar Logan Paul. So
Yeah.
there's that as well. So yeah, there's still a lot of questions, especially with the draft because they did say the draft is on the way. I know they've been pretty quiet about it,
Yeah.
but the draft is on the way. It's hopefully sooner than later. They want to do it before Money in the Bank, so hopefully maybe at Backlash they announce the draft so we can get an idea
Yeah.
where they're going. Which again, one of my favorite years of the year is draft year because you could pick where people
Yep.
go. Well, we might do a draft series. If you guys want a draft series, we could do a draft series on us thinking where everybody's going, who needs a change, who needs a fresh start. We could always talk about that. But my point is yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of question marks going into that draft, especially with the future of everything. And I'm assuming they want to bulk up Raw because Raw needs that tag division bulked up immediately. But you also don't want
Yeah.
to tarnish what SmackDown's doing, especially now getting Fraxium.
Yeah.
You don't want to tarnish that. So, a lot of
Yeah.
question marks with not only feuds but also draftees as well.
And I won't be surprised if we're
Yeah,
not getting tag team title matches, but for this, but I want to see at least one tag team title match for Night of Champions.
I'm hoping so. Especially since it's Night of Champions. If they're bringing that back,
Yes.
every title must be defended. That's the rule of Night of
Yes.
Champions.
Almost every title.
Almost every title must be defended no matter what. That's how it was
Yeah.
back in the day. You had your tag titles, you had your Divas title, you had your world title, you had your other world title, you had your IC, you had your US. You would want to do the same thing. So if they are doing a Saudi Arabia Night of Champions once again, which is the rumor, the plan is June
Yeah.
25th to 8th, I believe, one of those dates. They want to do a Night of Champions before the summer, which is going to be Money in the Bank. Actually no. Money in the Bank would be first. So they'll do Money in the Bank and then they'll do Night of Champions. They'll do a Night of Champions and then they'll head into SummerSlam going into July. So I'm very intrigued where that's going to go, especially since again Jay's not. It seems like Jay's going to be off Backlash because again we're going to do predictions tomorrow. If they do add any extra matches, again we'll say it in the review and say hey there was a match added, but the timing we just couldn't talk about it, and we'll talk about it. But if there's no other matches added and this is the card, then this would be the first time Jey Uso's off the pay per view, no defense needed.
Yeah.
So, which would be weird. It'd be weird, but I
Yeah.
understand
So
it.
weird.
Again, you want to focus on Cena Orton. I get that. I get that, and they deserve that main event spot. But it will be weird.
Yeah.
It will be weird not seeing Jay on there. Um,
Yeah.
Especially since obviously then they also announced that I think Cody Rhodes is on the way. I think on the
Yes.
May
May 16th.
May 16th. So that's a week after Backlash.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be getting to hear from Cody Rhodes after what happened
Going
with
into
Cena.
Night of Champions. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm very intrigued what he has to say after losing to Cena. We'll see what he has to say there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was Raw basically. That was everything. Really fun show, really good go home. I had a lot of fun. SmackDown Go Home is this week with Cena. So I'll obviously talk about it on my Instagram and everything as I always do. But yeah, in
Yeah.
general, really fun Raw. Raw, again, it's the A show for a reason, and they
Yeah.
showed why. And now obviously we're getting all these injuries back and getting people back, and now with the draft looming behind us, which I think is most important, that it sets a nice reset for everybody, and everything. Definitely a solid Raw. And I'm super excited for Backlash. Basically we're gonna talk about it Thursday. So I'm super excited for talk about Backlash, and Raw I think was very good. I thought Raw was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Raw was a 9 out of 10. Great show, great build up going into Backlash. Well,
Yeah.
Homecoming before Backlash.
Hmm.
We're gonna be so stoked up for this amazing, pay per view after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Going into the big Night of Champions show. Yeah, it's gonna be real fun. I cannot wait. And funny thing, I believe you said we are predicting that tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST. You know, we'll obviously eat breakfast, do whatever we need to do, enjoy the
And
game or
if I'm
whatever.
late, I'll let you know. But I'm gonna
Yeah, he's
be
gonna text
live.
me if he's late.
Yes.
I will also update my Instagram post. That's where I always
Yes.
post when I'm going live. I will
Yep.
update, hey, Manny's gonna be a little late. We'll start at like 2 something. But if he's not late and he's good to go, 1 p.m. EST will be the start, and we'll
Yeah.
predict the pay per view. We'll talk about it, and then hopefully Sunday or Monday, depending on how we feel, we will review the pay per view and we'll talk with you guys and we'll let you know how we felt about Backlash. Because again, on paper, it's a very weird card because there's a lot of names not present. Like this is Cody Rhodes' first pay per view, not on the pay per view. First time Jey Uso, not on the pay per view. So it's a bit weird, but there's still some really fun stuff, especially with like the Cena Orton match. The women's IC title could be a lot of fun, especially with that promo with Lyra. That thing got me fired up. Um, and there's some other cool stuff. So, but yeah, that's everything. Um, by the way, I'm very grateful that everyone was very patient with me and supporting me and everyone even with my time away. But it feels so damn good to be back. It really felt like a lift off my shoulders that I could finally record and stuff. And you'll definitely be getting more content as we go through. And let us know if you guys want any different kind of stuff. I'm thinking of doing potentially different pay-per-views for just predictions for different companies. TNA is another one that I want to add in the future when we get there. But yeah, just let us know what else you guys want on this channel. We could do tons of different stuff. And I'll explain on the Instagram post because I took a picture of it. I'll explain. I'll also be having special gaming videos now on this. I call them episodes. SE, which means special episode, where it does not count on the counter of the normal Raw reviews or pay per view wars or anything like that. That's just me kind of hopping on with my friends or hopping on with Manny, with the rest of my friends, and we're just gonna game out and we're just gonna play games. Just play games and just have a fun time. So it's something I'll be slowly integrating as we go along, like how I've been doing recently. So I'll slowly integrate that as well. And I'll make a playlist for that as well. I'll also split them up so you guys understand what's a
Yep.
special episode where it's not an actual podcast episode, and then one that's a legitimate like, hey, we're gonna do a podcast, we're gonna talk about it. Um, but that's it. Thank you all.
Yeah.
This has been really fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all, and I'll see you tomorrow for pay per
Yes.
view.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
Also,
see
tune
you.
into Sunday as we're going to talk about The Last of Us episode 5 with Brian as well. Tune into that. And also,
Yes.
we're going to try to tune in. We're going to try to play or react to the very big Star Wars event for Fortnite coming on May 27th, you said, right?
It's something that we're planning because they're going to be doing. Like I said, me and Manny, we do. I've been starting to do a lot of Fortnite now because again, I love Star
Yeah.
Wars. It's one of my favorite things. And yeah, don't get me wrong, the movie thing is very hit or miss, but it seems like they're
Yeah.
starting to slowly finally rebuild. I mean, they got some cool stuff. Hopefully, that stuff
Yeah.
doesn't get canceled. Like, I mean, they have a Darth Maul series coming, which I hope that becomes a reality because
Oh,
that
yeah. No,
shit looks
that
fun.
looks interesting.
And
That
also
looks
the
interesting.
Ryan, what's his name? He was the one in Barbie.
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling coming in as a starfighter, as one of like the pilots. I'm actually kind of hyped for that. I hope that becomes a
Yeah.
reality too. That could be a fun movie. So yeah, hit or miss, but I'm definitely excited for the future if everything comes to fruition. The Star Wars future is very bright now.
Very.
But the Fortnite stuff, they always nail the Star Wars stuff. They're always so
Yeah.
consistent. So I've been getting back into it. It's been a lot of fun. You probably see some of my posts on Instagram and stuff. So yeah, we do plan potentially if the event, the LTM goes live, we might do a stream for that. Still working out the works. I'm still trying to figure out dates, but if I'm available that
Yeah.
day, we'll definitely do a stream for it, and we'll play that event. Gonna be crazy, but I'm definitely excited to play that event. But that's all. We'll see you tomorrow for pay per view prediction
Yeah.
warfare.
Thank you guys and see
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow for Backlash.